Hello everyone, here we will see the notes of Death of a Salesman. Introduction. Death of a Salesman, a play in two acts and a requiem by Arthur Miller, written in 1948 and produced in 1949. Miller won a Pulitzer Prize for the work, which he is described as the tragedy of a man who gave his life or sold it in pursuit of American dream. After many years on the road of as a traveling salesman, Willy Loman realizes he has been failure as a father and a husband. His sons, Happy and Biff, are not successful. About playwright Arthur Miller, American playwright who combined social awareness with a searching concern for his characters' inner lives. He is best known for Death of a Salesman, 1949. Miller was shaped by the Great Depression, which brought financial ruin into his father, a small manufacturer, and demonstrated to the young Miller in insecurity of modern existence. His first public success was with Focus, a novel about anti-Semitism. All My Sons, 1947, film 1948, a drama about a manufacturer of war materials that strongly reflects the influence of Henry Gibson, was his first important play. It won Miller a Tony Award and it was with his first major collaboration with the director Elia Kazan, who also won a Tony. Miller's next play, Death of Salesman, became one of the most famous American plays of its period. It is the tragedy of Willy Loman. Now we will come to the work Death of a Salesman. Willy Loman, a traveling salesman, returns home to Brooklyn early from the sales trip. At the age of 63, he has lost his salary and is working only on commission, and on this trip has failed to sell anything. His son Biff, who has been laboring on farms and ranches throughout the West for more than a decade, has recently arrived home to figure out a new direction for his life. Willie thinks Biff has not lived up to his potential, but as Biff reveals to his younger brother Happy as assistant to the assistant buyer at a department store, he feels more fulfilled by outdoor work than by his earlier attempt to work in an office. Alone in his kitchen, Willie remembers an earlier return from a business trip when Biff and Happy were young boys and looked up to him as a hero. He contrasts himself and his sons with his next door neighbor Charlie, a successful businessman, and Charlie's son Bernard, a serious student. Charlie and Bernard, in his view, lack the natural charisma that the Loman men possess, which Willie believes is a real determinant of success, but under the questioning of his wife Linda. Willie admits that his commission from the trip was so small that they will hardly be able to pay all their bills, and that is full of self-doubt. Even as Linda pressures him, hears the laughter of the woman, his mistress in Boston. Charlie comes over to see if Willie is okay. While they are playing cards, Willie begins talking with the recently deceased figure of his brother Ben, who left home at the age of 17 and made a diamond fortune in Africa and Alaska. Charlie offers Willie a job, but Willie refuses out of pride, even though he has been borrowing money from Charlie. Full of regrets, Willie compares himself to Ben and their equally adventurous, mysterious father who abandoned them when they were young. He wanders into his backyard trying to see the stars. Linda discusses Willie's deteriorating mental state with the boys. She reveals that he has tried to commit suicide both in a car crash and by inhaling gas through a rubber hose on the heater. Biff Charon agrees to stay home and try to borrow money from his previous employer, Bill Oliver, in order to start a sporting goods business with Happy, which will please their father. Willie is thrilled about this idea and gives Biff some conflicting, inherent advice about how to ask for the loan. The next morning at Linda's Arguing, Willie goes to his boss, Howard Wagner, and asks for a job in the New York office close to home. Though Willie has been with the company longer than Howard has been alive, Howard refuses Willie's request. Willie continues to beg Howard with increasing urgency until Howard suspends Willie from work. Willie, humiliated, goes to borrow money from Charlie at his office. There, he encounters Bernard, who is now a successful lawyer. The greatest thing Willie's son Biff ever achieved was playing with high school football. Dinner at Frank's Chop House. Biff and Happy have made us to meet Willie for dinner at Frank's Chop House. Before Willie arrives, Biff confesses to Happy that Oliver gave him cold shoulder when he tried to ask for a loan. And he responded by stealing Oliver's pen. Happy advised him to tie the Willie in order to keep his hope alive. Willie sits down at the table and immediately confesses that he has been fired. So Biff had better give him some good news to bring home to Linda. Biff and Willie argue as distressing memories from the past overwhelming Willie. Willie strays to the washroom and recalls the end of Biff's high school career when Biff failed a math course and went to Boston in order to tell his father. He found Willie in a hotel room with a woman and became so delusioned about his former hero that he abandoned his dreams for college and following in Willie's footsteps. As Willie is lost in this revise, Biff and Happy leave the restaurant with two call girls. When Biff and Happy return home, Linda is furious at them for abandoning their father. Biff, ashamed of his behavior, finds Willie in a backyard. He is trying to plant seeds in the middle of the night and conversing with the ghost of his brother Ben about a plan to leave his family with the $20,000 in life assurance money. Biff announces that he is finally going to be true to himself, that neither he nor Willie will ever be great men, and that Willie should accept this and give up his distorted version of the American dream. Biff is moved to tears at the end of this argument, which depends Willie resolve to kill himself out of love for his son and family. Willie's funeral. Only his family, Charlie and Bernard, attend Willie's funeral. Biff is adamant that Willie died for nothing, while Charlie alleges Willie as a salesman who by necessity had nothing to trade on but his dreams. Linda says goodbye to Willie, telling him that the house has been paid off, that they are finally free of their obligations, but now there will be nobody to live in it. The play demonstrates how a person's self-perpetual denial can impact those around him and include them. Analysis. Home ownership is a central pillar of American dream. But Willie's house has been overwhelmed by the city, just as Willie is himself overwhelmed by the pressure on him. The product Willie sells is never revealed, highlighting that what a salesman must really sell is himself. Willie's statement hints at the spiritually and materially unrewarding nature of his job. Opening the windshield signifies Willie's connection to nature, which is city living, car driving sales. Job interferes with Willie's dream rather than motivating him, steer him off course. Willie's remarks about his importance as a salesman must be taken with a grain of salt. A salesman as successful as he claims to be would likely be better off than he is. Nevertheless, he has strived for success only to be betrayed by his former boss and son, whose inherited success. Willie contrasting statement on Biff's work ethic show how his hopes for Biff have been dashed, but also his capacity for self-delusion. Linda's role. Willy's lie again shows his need to make himself look successful. Linda's excited response shows her willingness to believe in him despite his exaggerations. The endless payment on their possession hint at how Willy and his family have become slaves of his dream of material comfort. Linda's love for Willy is steadfast and isn't based on the money he makes. Willy fails to see this, however, and except for occasional moments like this one in which he admits his vulnerability. He is always trying to confidently sell himself, even to his family. His job also takes him away from his family, so that he is seldom around. The appearance in Willy's memory at this moment, along with his flattered response to her, suggests that loneliness and insecurity squared him into the affair. The woman ghostly laughter suggests how his betrayal for Linda haunts him. Also, notice how, in contrast to Linda's unconditional love, his relationship with the woman seems almost like a financial transaction of gifts. Conclusion. The death of a salesman addresses loss of identity and a man's inability to accept change within himself and society. The play is a montage of memories, dreams, confrontation, and arguments, all the which make up the last 24 hours of Willy Loman's life. This work revolves around self identity, unrealistic expectations, and powerlessness. The play addresses a man's struggle with not being able to live up to his own expectations and dealing with this through conflict during final day. If you like these notes, let me know in the comment box. Also, like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.